Welcome fellas to the review of a PG35VQ. As we know, this monitor supports 200Hz, G-SYNC, and HDR. Let's go through all the features of this monitor and most importantly, try to justify the crazy ludicrous price point in Australia of 3,800 Australian dollars. Sit back, relax, and let me know in the comments below whether you guys are open to paying that kind of price point and whether you guys believe it's worth it. But without further ado, fellas, let's check out this product and see exactly what we get. Alrighty, fellas, now let's go through all the really awesome specifications of the display itself. So what we grab over here, of course, is a widescreen 35-inch, which is 88.98 centimeters, a 21:9 screen. Color saturation is 90%. DCI P3. The panel over here, of course, is a VA panel. True resolution of 3440 by 1440. Display view is 819.4 by 345.9 millimeters. We also grab ourselves 1000 nits peak brightness, which I would say is absolutely amazing. We grab ourselves HDR 10 with 512 different dynamic local dimming zones. And on top of that, fellas, we grab ourselves a refresh rate of 200 Hz. And to add a cherry on top of the cake, we grab ourselves G-SYNC Ultimate. So we are definitely getting the best gaming experience. But of course, as we know all of the specifications are out the way, let's go through furthermore details of this monitor and sort of see exactly what we get for the money. Now, having a look at the design itself, it looks really awesome. Pretty identical to the PG35VQ review that I did about 3 years ago itself. Really similar. The only difference that I could really tell over here is the base at the bottom here. It's got a really nice sort of charcoal-like feel. Unlike the PG35VQ, was a bit more lighter on the silver side. But at the bottom over here, we can sort of see Nvidia G-SYNC. It has a really nice brushed aluminum feel here with a really awesome ROG symbol in silver there, sort of connects to the other side here. And of course, there is a bit of a bezel, but you guys won't be able to see it because the screen is black, but there's a very small bezel there on the screen. So not too thick of a bezel, but it is definitely there. Moving down to the stand itself, made out of a really nice brushed aluminum over here. Really nice and premium, really nice and solid too, and very wide. So you guys got to make sure you guys have a wide enough desk. And one thing that did change over here was the fact that there's a hole here where you actually be able to put all of your cables routed through this hole over here to make sure the experience is seamless. Moving on to the side of the monitor itself here, we grab ourselves all kinds of different buttons which do different things. So of course the bottom over here sort of tells you that can actually turn off and on your monitor. This button over here sort of controls your audio and your game mode, and of course to cancel out. And over here, of course, is our really nice sort of joysticks, which is able to maneuver your menu itself, which I reckon is pretty nice here and very intuitive, honestly, fellas, because, you know, these buttons are pretty big, so you won't really get your fingers lost down here. You could definitely feel them, and even the grooves, yeah, make it really nice and seamless. But now let's have a look at the back of this monitor, yeah, because honestly, this is where the shine of the monitor is itself. They did change a whole lot here. So as we know, there's actually a fan built into the back of the monitor to really cool the monitor down itself. And of course, on this side, we grab ourselves a really awesome ROG illuminated RGB here, but I find that kind of pointless because you won't really be able to see it. We also got that same sort of ROG RGB dent here too, and also at the bottom of your base here as well, which I'll sort of show you guys shortly. But those are, I would say, are the major differences itself compared to the PG35VQ monitor itself. And of course, on top here, we get a whole lot of ventilation to make sure that your monitor breathes. But now let's check out the AI ports at the bottom over here and sort of see exactly what we get there. Flipping the monitor to the back over here, we can see all kinds of different ports here. So let's go through all the details and sort of see exactly what we get. So one thing I love about this monitor, fellas, is the audio features. We grab ourselves the ESS Sabre High Definition DAC over here. So when you connect your 8mm jack to the back of this monitor, the sound quality will be way better than usual monitors. So I reckon that could justify the price point just a little bit, of course. But we grab ourselves 2 USBs at the back over here, a display port, an HDMI, and of course the power port here. So you know, we are grabbing a bit of extra functionality over here. So at least we grab ourselves 2 USBs, which is nice to see. But now let's go through more features of this monitor and sort of power it up and see more about what we get. So here we have it, fellas. The monitor all booted up now in this beautiful HDR glory over here. I know it would be very hard to sort of see the colors through this video, but it looks very, very vibrant. But one cool neat feature about this monitor itself is the base or the back over here, as you can see. Really awesome. Yeah, you're able to really customize this through your Aura software. So in case you guys wanted to sort of sync this to the back and even to your system rig over there, you'll actually be able to do that. So that's one cool neat feature. But now let me show you the back over here of that RGB, which I sort of spoke about earlier on. At the back of this monitor, I am really impressed with how bright this looks like, but unfortunately we can't see this. So in case you guys had a mirror at the back of your system rig, you will be, but I don't think you'll be looking at a mirror while you guys are gaming. But moving on to this side of this really cool base here, you could see the ROG sign, which is pretty cool. So, you know, you are getting consistency, yeah, but unfortunately this does not change color, but I doubt you guys would care. But it will sort of illuminate onto your wall here in case you guys wanted to have something really cool for your system rig. But again, unfortunately, you won't be able to see this. I thought I'd sort of show you guys how that looks like. Alrighty, fellas, now let's go through a couple of features on this on-screen display itself, as I kind of showed you earlier. So when I press the button at the back over here, you can see all kinds of features. I'm able to change between overclock mode. So I'm able to overclock to 200 Hertz, which is really awesome. I didn't really do that because if you guys overclock to 200 Hertz, unfortunately, you guys will be using chroma sampling. So basically what chroma sab sampling basically means is it actually won't be the true 10-bit color that you guys want. You guys will actually have to jump down to 8-bit. So for me, honestly, I would rather focus on getting 144 Hertz, which can still deliver 10-bit color. But in case you guys are wondering, you could still enable 12-bit color, but you guys will have to move down to 120 Hertz, which this monitor is over here. But moving back to these settings over here, as you guys can see, max refresh rate of 200 Hertz if you really wanted to. You could really change your blue light filter to anything you want. I turn mine to level 0, but if you guys turn it to level 1, it'll really dramatically change the color, yeah, make it a little bit lighter, but I prefer mine a bit more natural. Going to game visuals, yeah, you could change any kind of scenery. So you could change to scenery mode, racing mode, cinema, RTS, RPG, FPS, and sRGB as well. You can change the color over here to brightness of 60, contrast, color temperature from normal all the way up until user mode, and you can also change the gamma as well, which is pretty cool. Moving down to image over here, you can change all these settings from OD extreme, dark boost, variable backlight, even to auto black level, aspect ratio. With my variable backlight, I make sure that it's fast to make sure the performance is the best. Moving on to input selection, you can pick between HDMI or DisplayPort or input auto switch, which is a pretty neat feature to have in case you guys want to play on your PlayStation or something. Over here in the system setup over here, you can change between any one of these languages, as you guys can see. Light in motion, you can change it to any color you want. Aura sync, as I spoke to you guys earlier. Aura RGB, so you're able to change the color of your rear cover, which is at the back, to any one of these colors. Shift, breathing, strobing. The base as well too, to color cycle, static, breathing, and strobing, which is pretty sick. So you guys get a whole lot of features, yeah, in case y'all don't want to use Aura Sync software. You can change your OSD position, transparency, OSD timeout. You can change the key lock, information about the display itself. As you can see, color depth is 8-bit. So the sound, you can change the volume from 40 all the way up until 100. USB high-res support, which is on over here. You could also mute it too. You can change your display port deep sleep, which I always turn on, HDMI deep sleep, economy mode, auto SDR brightness, I turn that off, display SDR input, so you gotta make sure you always put it on wide color gamut. Also warning for the HDR sign, DP SDR, HDMI SDR, and you can all reset it as well. So a whole lot of features at this menu, but as you can see, it's very intuitive to you. Alrighty, fellas, over here we are playing the beautiful The Division 2, which does support HDR, and unfortunately, of course, you won't really be able to see it in this video, but whoa, man, the whites are really white and the blacks are really black here. So let me just sort of show you a bit of gaming experience using this and sort of seeing how nice this looks. Right now, this is really white, but of course, this video, you actually won't be able to see how bright it looks. But when you guys sort of see HDR on 1000 nit brightness, it looks absolutely amazing. I thought I'd sort of have my rivet tuner at the bottom over here so I could sort of see the sort of performance that I'm getting on 2 RTX cards and NVLink, but of course this game does not support it. But now let's check out how bright the whites are in this game itself, because honestly this game looks absolutely gorgeous. So over here I'm getting 63 FPS, everything is on max settings, and of course, as you guys know, we want to sort of see how this game looks like in HDR.
We need to get control of the monorail system in order to reach her. The main entrance will be well guarded, but it's the easiest way in, and they won't be expecting company.
All right, I don't want to play like a doofus, but as you guys could see, the sky over here, you know, like when I'm looking at it right now, it is so bright. Obviously, we won't be able to see this through the video itself, but it is really beautiful. The whites are popping, and most importantly, the sky itself, the reflections of the sun on my character's face. This looks so well done. Really loving what they did with this game. Especially that sun over there, guys, so bright. Let's go to more sort of environments now so we can sort of see how it looks like. But yeah, really, really awesome. Let's check out the back here. Even the color of this orange is just really popping, especially with the HDR enabled. So yes, the experience with HDR enabled games, it is really awesome. But of course, as we know, not all games support HDR. I won't even, you know, try fight here. But let me just even show you guys the environments of the sun again, and just look at how gorgeous this looks, man. Very vibrant. It doesn't really feel saturated, but it feels more realistic. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. But this one game does look freaking awesome. Alrighty, fellas, now let's speak about the negatives of an HDR display over here. So as you can see, this image does not look like it's HDR at all. It looks pretty washed out, and you know, the colors aren't so awesome. Reason being is because Windows is not optimized for HDR yet. Let me sort of go through my options over here and click on to display settings and sort of show you guys what I mean. Let me sort of zoom in here. As you can see, it says play HDR games. When I turn this on, you guys will see that it actually makes the image way worse and washed out, as you guys could see. So right now my monitor is HDR in inverted commas, but as we can sort of see over here, it does not look HDR at all. But you know, even when you go through your settings over here, you will sort of see it says HDR, as you can sort of see there. But you know, Windows is not necessarily communicating well with this monitor. So the only way to turn HDR on is through games, unfortunately, because you actually won't get the HDR experience right out of the box, because Windows is broken for HDR. One negative thing as well, fellas, that I could sort of say about this sort of monitor itself is the halo effect. So basically, when you have very dark backgrounds and you hover your mouse, as you can sort of see over here, you get a sort of halo effect itself. The reason being because it has 512 different zones here. And unfortunately, if you guys decide to pick 10-bit or 12-bit color, what will happen is you get the sort of halo effect. And as you guys saw earlier, when you sort of change it to fast in one of the settings over here, on the variable backlight, it'll actually have a halo effect. But when you say medium, it'll actually reduce the sort of quality from 10-bit to 8-bit. So it's a bit of a compromise there. And earlier, as I guys spoke to you about the hertz, yes, of course you can really you know, overclock your monitor to 200 hertz if you really wanted to. But again, you guys will not get 10-bit color. You guys will have to go back to 8-bit or even chroma sampling, as they call it. So you will be sort of sacrificing an image sharpness or image clarity to hertz itself. So in my honest opinion, the perfect sweet spot for me is 120 to 144 hertz, because you will still be able to get the really nice 10-bit color itself. So that's one trade-off about this monitor itself, fellas, is a halo effect, and of course the optimization from Windows. But luckily the games do work, as you guys saw earlier from The Division 2. They look absolutely beautiful. But the bad thing about this is the fact that this is very inconsistent experience because of Windows. Some days I actually get really awesome HDR quality with my wallpaper. The colors looking very bright, but as you guys can sort of see over now, it looks very washed out compared to previously. So Windows, get your shit together. So there we have it, fellas, the PG35VQ. What are my final thoughts? The experience of this monitor has been absolutely awesome, but the only negative thing is Windows, fellas. Because again, as I showed you earlier, Windows sort of lessens the experience with HDR, because again, you get washed out colors when you sort of enable it on the desktop, but when you game, it does work. But unfortunately, you have to turn it off during gaming in Windows, and then it'll automatically turn on in game. So the experience is absolutely breathtaking, a different layer of immersion when you guys are playing HDR. So
yes, I would definitely recommend this monitor. But if you guys have a 4K display with HDR at 27-inch or the previous PG35VQ monitor itself, should you really upgrade to this one? If you guys have never really experienced ultra-wide screens, I would say yeah, because it's in a different kind of level. Absolutely immersive and really beautiful, especially when you see those colors pop out. But if you guys already have the PG35VQ monitor, would I recommend updating that? If you guys really treasure HDR and if you guys want more hertz than 100 compared to 200, then I would say yeah. But if you guys don't care about HDR and don't care about a 200 hertz monitor, I would recommend you guys not to upgrade. Let me know in the comments below. I am the Loot Gamer. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you later. Deuces.